and you can drive a Pantechnicon truck.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
He's going to pay you $5-6 grand a week to do it. And you just go here, and drop the trailer, and go back and get another one. And you do that twice a day, and we'll pay you $800 to do it. And this is a guy that was in prison for beating the living shit out of his wife.
Okay.
All right, so we're not talking about people. Just because someone can drive a lorry, don't make him a decent blue-collar worker.
I gotcha. Yep, I gotcha. All right. Is there any...
If you're looking for a villain in the whole thing, they're it. And that's you lot.
When you say you lot, you mean the people who are not part of the inside structure.
Yeah.
Just people who are taking the money and
running.
Yeah. I believe it.
And there's certain individuals in there that are feathering their own nest. They're digging their own holes.
Yes.
Because they thought, well, if you're doing it...
Okay.
Which is an odd one, but yeah, that does happen.
Now, a couple of minutes ago, when we were talking about the nuclear war being off the table, or not happening, you said that the guys who are heading for the hills are wasting their time, or at least not for that reason. Is there any reason why somebody heading for the hills and getting a little farm and a little community...
Oh, well, if you're going to say farm, that's completely different. That's very wise.
Why is that wise?
Well, you could argue that as well. That could be very foolish, because if I haven't got anything to eat and you've got a farm, you're in serious trouble.
Okay.
So if you've got a farm, you better have some geographical... An island would be good.
Why? What's happened? What's going to be coming down the line?
Well, again, I believe that, you know... no, it's not even... It's the wrong way to start that. People know about companies... And we ought to be very careful about naming those companies at this point, because it's actionable.
All right.
And it will be actioned. I can assure you that has been put on the table. This is what's going to happen. If the alternative media start using names of large companies, they are going to find things very difficult for them. They will be prosecuted. Their finances will be destroyed.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not.
You're referring to food.
Yes, you're talking to. So you're referring to large companies who are dealing with food.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone knows here what you're talking about.
Food.
Genetically modified food.
And if you're a farmer in Wisconsin, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. And you've just jumped up in your chair and said, "Finally, someone's going to say it."
All right. So what's...
Because they've been living it for years.
Yeah. So what's going on there? This is a big one, isn't it? This is important.
It is. If you want to worry about something, that's what you want to worry about.
Okay, so tell people...
And there's no time frame on this. This has been being rolled out for years. As I said, go to the Midwest. Ask any guy there who he's had to deal with and the tactics they've used when he didn't want to do it. There's a very, very small number of farmers that use their own seed now. And they are ridiculed, disenfranchised, hounded, criminalised in their own communities for not towing that line.
Yeah.
So planting their own seeds, you know.
So what's all that about? Why is this happening?
Well, now I'll tell you straight away. You immediately, as I said, that guy jumps up and says, "Yay!" There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other people that have been brought into a way of thinking that genetically modified crops is the only way to feed the population in the size it is.
Right.
And that equation works. It is. It does. That is the only way. If the population is the size it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we stop using genetically modified crops, we are evil because we are making the poor man starve.
Right.
Yeah, because it's the only way we're going to be able to produce enough crops for that poor man.
Okay.
Yeah, so immediately I'm a demon now because I've dared to cross the genetically modified crop issue by saying that it's not good. Yeah, but straight away they'll say, well, you're evil because that, if you start making people think that, or people take this video seriously, etc., and they start actively pursuing, with that, in their state or their county, there is a trial. Well, we're past the trial stage now, aren't we? There are fields that are being used like that. They will say straight away, this is a good thing because it enables higher yield.
Yes.
So therefore we will have surplus, so we can send it to people that need it.
Yes.
Yeah, because the population is the size it is. Yeah. So the only way, it's a good thing. You know, and to dissent on it is evil because you're going to make people starve.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying is that this is being sold as being a good thing because it's the way to solve the problem.
Thing. Mathematically, you wouldn't be able to argue it. It is a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Until someone turns the switch off, and it's a really bad thing.
Yes. Turning the switch off, meant as a metaphor, what's the switch? Can you help people understand what that would be?
Well, a farmer would understand what I've said straight away. If I don't give you that seed anymore because you don't pay your bill.
Okay. So we're talking about something that disrupts that system that's been set up.
Literally, I educate you, but you know about, they're buying seed that it will not reproduce, yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, when it's grown, that's that.
Yes.
And you're not allowed to store seed that is able to grow and reproduce.
Right.
That's actually almost criminal now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah? They will hound you if you've got that kind of seed. Because they want to stamp that kind of seed out, so you're totally dependent on what comes on a lorry every year.
Yes. Okay.
Is that farming?
Yeah, right.
It takes away the very essence of farming.
Yeah. So you're saying that then if that structure is interrupted in some way, then the whole house of cards comes down.
Yeah.
Okay. And what you're saying then, I haven't heard you say this just now, but it sounds to me like what you're saying then is that this is planned and engineered, that this is going to happen, they're going to do this?
Absolutely.
Right. You said that without even thinking about it. It's like, yes, absolutely.
It is going to happen.
It is going to happen.
Yeah. It's just a matter of when.
But yeah.
And that'll be when the time's right.
When the time's right.
Because there is no time, which always makes me laugh when people make predictions.
Yeah.
They are in that 70% of the alternative media that are complete idiots.
Yes.
Because as soon as someone, there's an interesting thing for you, as soon as someone puts a date on it, we won't do it. That's the end of it.
Right. Right.
Credibility, out the window.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity to destroy someone's credibility by mentioning a date.
We love it when they do that.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's easy to understand.
And a couple of your friends have done that.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And, of course, it hasn't happened.
Right. Yes. Interesting. Okay. Back to the big scenario here. You're saying this is a big one. The planning to disrupt the food supply and distribution.
No, not disrupt it.
Not disrupt it?
Control it.
Control it.
Yeah. So if you live in Brazil, you're going to be all right.
Okay.
If you live Africa, you're not.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they've already got problems anyway. It's probably a bad. Yeah, they got problems anyway. Well, there's parts of Africa that haven't. They're very, very productive.
How about Europe?
Yeah.
What? So.
And definitely America, of course. I'll take that as a red.
Yes. Just to cut to the chase here, what you're talking about is the deliberate creation of a state of famine where a lot of people are going to die. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would be the result.
That would be the result.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what happens when you haven't got any food. You starve to death.
Yes. Do you know?
It's hard to find the geezer who's got his finger on the trigger, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, because it just looks like something. Yes, it just looks like something that's sort of happening. Yeah.
And it's been looking and sort of happening for the last 7 years.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
And don't take my word for it. Do your research. You'll see it's there, Bill.
Yeah.
There's nothing hidden.
Yes. This is something you said to me over and over again. It's all there.
It's got to be.
It's all there.
Fair play, if you want to use your phrase.
Yes. It's all out there for people who are smart enough to look and see.
Yeah, because if you figure it out, you're accepting, aren't you?
Okay.
Especially if you can do something about it.
Right. So...
Captains of industry and so on.
Yes. Do you know... Maybe you don't know, but do you know what the target figures for population reduction are?
No.
Okay. Do those figures exist?
I would presume so, yes.
Okay. Because there's...
to do any model, first of all, you need a business plan, don't you, for anything?
Right. And, of course, a lot of people watching this will know that the so-called target, or the ideal population number as stated on the Georgia Guidestones is 500 million, isn't it?
Okay.
500 million.
Yeah.
What do you know about the Georgia Guidestones?
Right. You educate me. They found who'd done it yet?
No. It was a pseudonym. Somebody Christian, I think. The guy has never been located. One person has said, yes, I did this.
Ah, yeah, no, discount that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about, has it been proved?
No.
Right.
No.
And it won't be.
Right.
I shouldn't think. Be very surprised.
Okay.
You're interested in the George guys?
I just want, not particularly.
Where did they come from? That's what interests you.
It looks like a manifesto. It's a manifesto in 8 languages, carved in stone, out in the open. A lot of people have drawn attention to this. The 500 million figure has been drawn attention to over and over again. I've done that myself. It looks like a manifesto. You know, like this is what we're going to do.
Then perhaps it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you did. All right. No problem. You're saying it's a manifesto.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it could be, couldn't it? It looks like one, doesn't it?
Okay. This is where I'd love to have a camera right here to see it. Okay, no problem. So from that point of view, and I know that you're not in the game of giving advice, and I understand why that is, because it really is about letting things roll. But if I said to you, which I haven't, by the way, but if I said to you, you know what, I'm going to go and head for the hills in Ecuador and get myself a little community and a little organic farm, and we're going to have our own water supply and our own fruit trees and chickens and ducks and rabbits, and our own power generator, and we're going to sit there for 20 years and we're all a happy family and everything's just going to be fine and we really want to do that. Mm-hmm. Would you, and you'd say, well, why did you do that then? It sounds like a good idea. That's the kind of thing you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're non-combatant, you'd probably be left alone.
Yes.
Because how many people are you talking about? I mean, seriously, it's very hard to do that. With any real longevity, if you ever really look into self-subsistence, it's very hard to do. We're not that animal anymore, really, are we?
Oh, yeah. We were much better off in the Victorian days. Yeah, we're in real trouble now.
Knowledge is gone.
Yeah.
And that's by no coincidence. That's when you see what I'm saying? It's there, you know, you don't need to grow that anymore. We put it in the shelf. You know, go and buy cornflakes. You don't need corn.
Right. Yes. People. Yes, I know. It's a very.
You lose the ability, don't you?
It's a very clever game that's being played. People they've become so dependent on a system that if the bubble bursts, all they can do is stand there in their underwear.
Hamburgers with legs.
Yeah. All right. Hamburgers with legs. I haven't heard that one before. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you do. Everyone does. You only need to look around you.
Okay. Now, so can we then go on to why would they do this? Why would they do this? Let's put this in context for a moment here, and this is very important, because earlier on we were talking about the gentlemen who are calling the shots, who are making the decisions. We were referring to them together as respectable people who are operating with integrity, who believe that they're doing the right thing. They don't have an identical viewpoint about things, but they're very much together. And then somebody else watching this would say, wait a minute, we're talking about mass murder. But how do you fit this together?
We're not really talking about mass murder, are we? No one's holding a gun, are they?
All right.
And who did it?
You're talking about control, right. You're talking about controlling the conditions.
Sequenced events.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of what happened.
But you're talking about controlling situations so that a kind of Darwinian natural selection occurs.
That's right, yeah.
And the smartest and the fittest and the best problem solvers and the people who can see what's coming and the people who are maybe a lot of the people watching this video because they're smart enough to watch the video.
Well, they're already waking up, aren't they? They're already looking at what you're saying or the alternative media are saying.
Yes. So there's a small group of people here, relatively small compared
very small,
with...
really.
Very small.
Very small.
Who, if they take heed of all of this, are likely to make it through.
Well, okay, I think that might be stretching it a little bit.
More likely to make it? What would you say?
Well, as I said, we've been debilitated quite a lot, so it depends. If that individual's someone that's got the ability to self-survive, can farm, can do this, can do that.
Yes.
Well, then, they got to jump on it now. They know they've got to do it. And
Yeah.
if they've got the ability, they can.
Yes.
But if you don't, then you're probably just as lost as everybody else, aren't you? You just know you're lost.
Okay.